Hello and welcome to the Fighting Spirit Podcast. As always, I'm Jason and I'm here to bring you the retrospective for UFC Fight Night Anderson versus Blachowicz. We had kind of a weird night here. We ultimately went 64% accuracy, but that's discounting these disqualifications, which I do because they don't fit statistically into the numbers. You know, tonight I think the Vargas fight and the Vargas versus Weaver, that is, I thought Vargas was winning that, ended up losing through a disqualification, and then the Sanchez fight, that one's not even up for debate. Diego Sanchez was going to lose that fight against Pereira, and, you know, those end up being losses on the books officially, but though were not losses for the stats and who I think was actually winning those fights. So 64%, that's what I'm calling it. Let's get into it. Kind of a weird night, like I said. Here's the show. Alright, so let's get into things, but I do want to mention the Patreon. We went 1-2 on there. We missed the Vargas fight due to disqualification. We got the Davishvili fight correct, and then we missed Bontornin, which was a legit loss. But it's like we've just kind of come unlucky the last couple weeks. You know, there was the Reyes fight that I actually did go against the odds and take, and he kind of gets screwed by the judges, and this week we're screwed by the judges, just, you know, guys with low fight IQ, kneeing guys on the ground, you know, and that hurt the Vargas fight, that hurt the Reyes fight last week. So yeah, just kind of a little down about the results, but that's part of the game. That's you know, it's part of the play. You got to accept it. It's just how things play out. So sorry if I sound a little bumming about it. I kind of am. But let's get into it. Let's move past that and get into our main event, which we actually did get incorrect. But I'm not too upset about this one. I think Blachowicz is going to make a great challenger to Jon Jones. We saw what he did tonight to Anderson. Anderson, you know, he made a mistake, like basically Michael Bisping was saying on the post-fight. You know, he put both of his hands down as he went for that leg kick inside the pocket. That's a bad move against a guy like Blachowicz with a ton of power, and he ended up knocking him out 3 minutes and 8 seconds into the first round. I thought that Anderson looked really good up until that point. I thought that he was actually fighting his fight against Blachowicz, but he made one deadly error, and Blachowicz capitalized, so that is, you know, part of the game is, you know, having one small error cost you everything. That is just, especially these higher weight classes, it's just the reality of the situation. And Blachowicz picks up a win and punches his ticket, I think, to fight Jon Jones. After that spectacular knockout in the first round, and then, obviously, the way Jon Jones plays the politics and everything, I don't think they're going to run that Reyes fight back. I don't think they're going to run the Santos fight back. I think maybe you get Reyes versus Santos, and you get Blachowicz next in line, because I think Jones thinks you can beat him pretty easily. That's just my opinion, though. We'll see how things play out, but great win for Blachowicz, and it was an error on our part. The next one, you can call it an error on our part if you want. Diego Sanchez wins via disqualification against Michael Pereira. So Michael Pereira easily won this fight. He outstruck him 2-1. He scored 2 takedowns. Sanchez basically did nothing but throw, you know, front flip kicks or rolling thunders, whatever the hell you want to call them, going into the first round. And Pereira put on a spectacular highlight reel. I mean, he threw Showtime kicks off the cage, flying knees. He threw capoeira kick at some point. The guy was fun to watch, and he definitely won this fight. But as he had Sanchez, you know, crumbling, he kneed him. Jason Herzog, the referee, comes over, asks Sanchez if he can continue. He didn't put him on with any influence, like, hey, you're probably winning, you're probably losing. He just asked him, do you want to continue? And Sanchez, you know, was kind of like, wait, if I don't continue, I win. And he's like, oh, yeah, there's blood in my face, and I can't make it. And that's a great veteran move. You know, he gets his win money and all that crap at that point. So I can't blame the guy for doing it, especially at his advanced age and how bad he was getting his ass kicked. You know, not the warrior spirit, but it is a sport after all, and he's a veteran. I think he deserves to take a little win money away from a guy who did screw up. You know, he did screw up, but this is the second time we had to screw up out of fighters tonight, and it robbed us of a victory in both situations. So Michael Pereira takes a loss, or Michel Pereira, and Diego picks up a win in one of the weirdest ways I've seen in a very long time. Also, that walkout was very weird. Michel super slow to come out. I think the cutman was yelling at him to hurry up. Diego walked out like a matador. It's just a It was just a weird fight, no matter how you slice it. But we ended up getting it wrong due to disqualification, is what it is. The next one we did get correct. Montana De La Rosa defeats Mara Romero Barella. This one, Montana De La Rosa, the whole story is really the takedowns and taking of the back. So in the first round, it was relatively close. And I thought that Montana did edge it out, but it was close. And then we get into round 2. Montana basically spends the whole entire round on Barella's back, fighting for the rear naked choke. Third round, we end up getting the knockdown by Montana, and that's kind of, I think, what really seals the deal. We end with Montana in top position again, and she just put on a really dominating performance. Great win for her, since her husband did take a loss in tonight's card, but they were the first husband and wife to fight on the UFC card, which is cool. I didn't realize that coming into the event, so that was cool information. It's just I'm sure he's going to be washing dishes or doing laundry for a bit, because she's going to be able to hold that over his head just a little bit, hopefully in a fun, kind of way, nothing too spiteful, right? All right, so great win for her. I was happy to make that call. In the next one, Brock Weaver defeats Kasula Vargas. So I thought Vargas looked really good. Weaver looked like kind of a shithead, honestly. He didn't touch gloves. There's a whole story about him and potentially dog fighting out there. You can look into it. I didn't really like Weaver coming into here. I thought Vargas looked really good. I thought that he screwed up in his original UFC performance, just kind of got outplayed. And I think he came out to prove that he was a superior fighter that really belonged in the UFC. He put it on Weaver early. He got the takedown. He did almost get caught in a guillotine choke by Weaver, but he popped out, and he started putting the bully beat down, the ground and pound on Weaver, but he threw a knee as Weaver was sitting down against the cage. Very, very illegal, and he gets robbed. Now, was he going to shut the door on Weaver? It's hard to say. It wasn't as, clear as the Sanchez-Pereira fight, but it certainly did seem like Vargas had the edge at that point, and he threw it away by going ahead and kneeing a downed opponent. So, again, we take a loss. He was a nice underdog. I'm not sure why he was such an underdog in reality after watching them fight, but it played out that way, and it is what it is. So we pick up an L, although I can't count it because statistically it's not significant. So it is what it is. In the next one, we got this one legitimately wrong. This was the Ray Borg Rogerio Bontorin fight. Borg was a takedown machine. He scored 10 takedowns on the night. Not the most on the night. That actually goes to Dvalishvili, which we did get correct. But he just looked like an animal. I mean, I think they call him the Mexican, Tasmanian devil. And he certainly lived up to his name. I mean, he was all over Bontorin. I thought it looked, pretty tight in the first few minutes of the fight. I thought, they were having pretty equal exchanges, but then Ray Borg just kept taking him down, kept riding his back. I think the entire second round, he was just body triangled in, riding Bontorin like a backpack. And Bontorin just looked overwhelmed, exhausted. He looked broken by the end of the fight, that he couldn't do anything, and especially since his game was so heavily on the submission jiu-jitsu side. To watch him get out grappled like that just really shows kind of the Achilles heel of Brazilian jiu-jitsu artists, and that is the takedown defense, or the ability to score takedowns. And because he couldn't really defend it, he couldn't score any of his own, he wasn't able to put his will on him, and hats off to Ray Borg. He put an outstanding performance. The only question is, can he perform at this weight class, having missed weight so many times? He missed weight coming into this fight. He may miss weight going into the next. He's kind of big for the weight class, or he has a tough time cutting weight. I'm not sure what it is. Might be diet. He wasn't that much bigger than Bontorin, to be perfectly honest, so I'm not really sure what his issue is, but I think this is his weight class. This is where he needs to fight. If he goes back up to bantam, he will end up taking, I think, some more L's. So try to stay 125, try to cut some weight. I think you got another shot after that performance, but the UFC probably won't book you if you miss weight one more time. That would end up being, 4 performances where you miss weight. So let's stay on track and keep it going. Hats off to Ray Borg. And the next one we did get correct, Lando Venata and Yancy Medeiros. So this one, Venata looked really good. He looked loose. He looked scary, though. He was fighting with his hands down the entire time, bobbing and weaving, moving in and out. It was definitely a fun fight to watch. It was very dynamic. Just one kind of takeaway. I thought that Veneta took some kind of shot to the knee. I can't remember what it was exactly. It was probably a leg kick. But it seemed like it took a shot to the leg, and he was limping at the end. You could see it on his face when he ate the shot. Definitely hurt him in some way. So I hope his leg, his knee, whatever it is all okay. It's just kind of a bruise, and he's able to get back in there because he put on a great performance against a very dangerous guy in Yancy Medeiros. A guy that definitely has heavy hands. He put it on really well. It struck him 99-68 and proved that he belongs in the UFC, and definitely turns the tide of his luck because he had such tough luck going into this. Draws, losses, only a win here or there. So happy to see Veneta come back, and was happy to make the call. And the next one, Daniel Rodriguez, Tim Means. This one's also a weird one. Tim Means winning the fight in the first round, I thought, just barely, edging out Rodriguez. And then he gets knocked down at the buzzer. It wasn't late. It came at the buzzer. It was a legit shot. But Means basically gets knocked out at the buzzer, right? He gets clipped in the back of the head. He goes down, he wobbles back to his corner, and they come out for the second round. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is done. His equilibrium shot. He's probably a little concussed. And sure enough, Rodriguez starts putting it on him. You can see that Means is wearing it. He ends up getting the guillotine choke in and tapping out. But that was basically, in best case scenario, then getting knocked out again. And having his lights shut down. So we missed that. It was his debut fight. I thought that Means looked good. Just weird the way it played out. Maybe Rodriguez was always going to win this fight. But Means wasn't able to use his reach too effectively, and he really let Rodriguez come in with this great boxing combination. So ended up picking up a great win, and hats off to Rodriguez. We got that one incorrect. Next one, we did also get this one incorrect too. I promise we got a lot right towards the bottom of this, but we missed the John Dodson Nathaniel Wood card. Dodson ends up picking up a win early in the third round because he just, I could tell he frustrated Wood. He frustrated me watching him. John Dodson's so fast, in and out of the pocket, so elusive, so evasive. The guy is just phenomenal at the style he plays. And Nathaniel Wood, you could tell, really just wanted to, get comfortable and get into the pocket and move at his own pace. And he was forced to reach, overextend, and chase Dodson around. And that's when the undoing came in the third round. Dodson used his own power against him, coming into the flurry of shots. Dodson hits him with a short, well-timed cross and counters Nathaniel Wood to put his lights out, put him on the mat, and pick up a great win. So, again, hats off to him. I was happy to see it. See Dodson pick up a win in his hometown or home state and everything. But a little sad to see Nathaniel Wood get knocked out of the win column here tonight. I think he's a great talent, great prospect, and I know he'll be back. But we did pick up an L on that, and hey, it is what it is. All right, the rest of the fights here are actually all W, so we did well at the beginning of the card, and we just trailed off. We had some kind of weird DQs and some rough decisions here, but we did get the rest of these right. So Scott Holtzman defeats Jim Miller. I thought he put on a dominant performance. He looked great. He outboxed Miller, and Miller really had nothing left in the gas tank, I think, by the third round. He also was not able to put on any grappling. So hats off to Holtzman. He played his game and stopped Miller from executing his. Then we had Devin Clark take on Daquan Townsend. Townsend was a late replacement. This is exactly how I expected things to play out. Devin Clark kind of picking up a relatively easy victory. He outstrikes him, outgrapples him. He just outdoes him everywhere. Daquan Townsend only gets off 6 shots that connect, and really just kind of a one-sided affair for Clark, who picks up a unanimous decision. Good job for him. And then in the next contest, Takedown Clinic, I said it was going to happen this way. That's why I put it on the Patreon. Davishvili scores 12 takedowns against Casey Kenny. He took the aggressive fighter that Kenny is, and he shut him down. He drained the gas tank and broke him. You could see he was broken by the 10th, 11th, 12th takedown. There was just no coming back for Kenny, and Davishvili kept coming forward. You could see that he relished every exchange they had. He really, really wanted to get in the face of Kenny, and he proved that he was a better man that night. And he definitely made a statement at bantamweight that this guy is a takedown artist, I think, can go up against anybody coming out of that Cerro Longo camp. So picked up a great win on that one. And next one, Macy Kaysen taking on Shanna Young. So in this one, I was a little worried. Rounds 2 and 3 were fine. I think it was all Macy. But the first round, she came out so aggressive. Shanna was catching with these great counters, these nice kicks to the head. And Macy just really, really needs to take her foot off the gas a little bit, raise the fight IQ and not try to steamroll anyone, because it is something that could undo her, especially if she climbs the ranks at bantamweight. You can't bully people on the way up. At some point, that train shuts down. You got to fight a smart, intelligent fight, and she's still not there. She's still pushing it too hard. She picked up a great win, but to open up the fight, I think that she could have lost very early on by catching a really nasty counter. So hats off to her, but please try to learn from your past mistakes. That loss to Landsberg, I think, was a great example. So hopefully she'll learn, but it's hard to say. And the last one here, Rulon Paiva knocks out Mark De La Rosa. Fairly tight fight, 54-45 strikes. But Paiva just connects late in that second round, shuts down Mark De La Rosa, and we also called this one correct. So we had 5 fights right in a row, but then we ended up kind of win-loss. And that's just kind of how things played out. I'm not upset with the overall results, but anytime you get these weird decisions, like, blatant judges, I think miscalling a fight or having these weird DQs when the guy that was winning is the one executing the disqualification and kind of screws the pooch. It's always kind of tough. It's just part of this game. There's nothing you can do to avoid it. It just sucks when it doesn't go in your favor. If I was sitting here and I said, oh yeah, I bet on Sanchez and I bet on Brock Weaver, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take the wins. Give me the money, right? So you can't have it both ways. You got to take the good with the bad, and just a little disappointed that it happened to go that way, and I'm disappointed that some of those affected the Patreon numbers out there and may have influenced somebody else's pick. So I always strive for the best. Sorry it didn't play out, but that is the game. And hey, it is what it is. I'm not too bummed out about it for what it's worth. I just always upsets me just a little bit. I am human after all. So, anyways, so yeah, we'll be back soon. This was a weird card. I'm hoping the next one is not as weird. It's going to be Felder versus Hooker. That's going to be the same night, or I think this is going to be actually take place during the day, as the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury 2 card. That one's looking really good too. I'm not going to make any picks for boxing, but I do. I'll talk about it on the next show. I have one fighter that I like over the other in that one, just pure anecdotal evidence, and then of course the Felder Hooker card will crunch the entire thing. It's looking really good. Obviously the main event is the big draw on that one. And then we got Jimmy Crute taking on Michael Owenstruck, not a bad fight. Kobulkiewicz taking on Zhizhen Yan, not a bad one there. Let's see what else we have. Emil Meek, Jake Matthews, not a terrible fight. Callan Porter, Kenyon Song, I like that one at welterweight. I always like watching Kai Kara France fight. He's fighting Tyson Nam. He's trying to avenge a loss, I believe he took in his last outing. Yeah, against Brandon Moreno. I thought he was going to steamroll that one. He didn't pick up a win there. We also got Luma Lukapume taking on Angela Hill. I will not be putting any money on that one. Just going to tell you that in advance, because we don't touch Angela Hill fights. They burn us every single time. So I'll make a call on that one, but I am not ever going to put money on that. Just rest assured. So this is a very solid card overall. We'll see how things play out. Maybe not as, it's kind of like a sleeper hit like we had this week, but still an awesome card. And then that's going to carry us forward into the next one, which is going to be Adesanya versus I'm skipping a fight. The UFC Norfolk card, Benavidez versus Figueiredo, then Adesanya Romero. That Figueiredo fight, though, not the fight, but the card itself, not the best, not my favorite card in the world. A couple little small sleeper hits on there. Actually, you know what? Alexander Munoz, Luis Pena. I'm actually feeling that one. Let's see what else. Megan Anderson. I don't know who she's fighting. Norma Dumont. Not sure about that one. I like Ion Kutaleba. He's a great fighter. He has a fight against somebody. Magomed Ankalaev. I know Ankalaev. That's going to be a good fight. So that card's actually now kind of getting going on me. I'm starting to like it a bit. So that one actually I think is now going to be a bit more fun. They've added a few more fights to it. So I'm liking that one now. And we just got some great fights coming up. Please get in touch with the show. I'll probably put up some stuff coming soon. I'm hoping to get a whiskey review out tomorrow, back with my wife. My wife Rachel will be on that one. So if you're listening to this point, you can look forward to that one. It's probably not going to come out tomorrow, though. I'm probably going to hold it back until middle of the week, maybe sometime after the fight picks. We'll see. I could also just release it tomorrow. We'll see. There's no set schedule for that one, but that'll be the last one, I think, to close this out this month, and they'll come back in March with something else. So just a fun night of fights. Many good fights coming up soon, and you know how to get in touch with us: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Please reach out, send me your questions, send me your comments, and I'll talk to you again soon. So until then, happy fight picking.